Hey guys, my name is Antonio Arce. In this video I'm going to show you how you create a loop using Visual Basic in Excel. So let's say we have the spreadsheet, the one you're seeing here with just sales data, and what we want to do in this exercise is to basically create a loop that goes cell by cell, row by row actually, going down, and basically evaluates whenever the region is equal to East and the total value is over $500. In that case, I wanted to flag as found versus not found, or yes or no. Let's do it yes or no, so it's easier. So whenever it's East and this value is over $500, then we want to put a yes in here. If not, then we just want to classify as no. How do we do that? So before that, you can set up your developer tab in Excel if you don't have this by default. So in case you don't have it, you can go to this section here on this bottom, this drop down basically, and you go to more comments. Once you go here, you can see on customize ribbon, then you will see developer. You just check this out and then you will start seeing it. Basically, this contains all the tools you need to actually start developing in Visual Basic in Excel. For now, we just want to maintain it simple. Now that you have it, you can click Insert. I'm going to use the ActiveX controls to place a button where I can basically add my code into it. So I'm going to click here, and then basically what it's expecting from me is just drag wherever I want that button to be placed. And I have a button already, right? Right now, you see this is very important. You have a design mode. So whenever you have this turned on and you double click, basically you're accessing Visual Basic for applications, coding the editor. If you turn it off, basically it's ready to execute. So when you click it, basically it has the push transition, right, where you see it like if you were pushing the buttons. Now nothing is happening because we haven't added anything. So in order to create a loop that goes row by row, we can use either a for or a while. In this case, I'm gonna show an example with for. Later on, I'm gonna create a video with a while so that you can understand the differences. Mainly, you use the for whenever you have the total amount of rows you wanna go down, and you do a while whenever your data is dynamic and you don't know when when it's gonna end up. Sometimes it's gonna end up in row 1000. Sometimes it's gonna end up in row 1,000,000. So in that case, you will need a while, so it continues to do something until something else happens, and we can explain later on. For now, what we need to do is just understand, we want to start in row 2 and finish in row 44. That's important because you're going to need those parameters to put it in your for loop. Now, I'm going to go to design mode. I'm going to click here, double click with this on. What this is going to do is it's going to open this window. This is the editor. I'm going to create some videos explaining all the features in here later on. For now, I just want to show you how you can quickly create a loop. So what we want to do, since we're in this specific cell, let me just put this side by side so you can see all that data. So I'm going to create, first of all, I'm going to create a variable. So in order to create a variable, you just dimension it. You type in dim. I'm going to say I as a long value, in case you want to go very with long numbers, right? Long means it's a big, it could go to a big number. Then now I have this value. I'm going to say, okay, I want to create a for. I'm going to say for I equal to 2, which is where we started, to we said finish on 44, right? So when you add that in, then you gotta close that loop next I. So basically this loop is gonna run until all this condition is met. So if it evaluates and I is less or equal to 44, it's gonna continue. Whenever it hits 45, it's just gonna stop because it exceeded this number, right? Okay, so now that we have that there, what we need to do is to now we do the evaluation, right? It's assume we're gonna go into each one of the rows. And what we said is we want to see, evaluate whenever the region is east and your total is over 500. How do we do that? This has letters, right? So one trick I'm gonna show you, you can just click File and then go to Options. And then you go to Formulas and select R1C1 reference style. What this is gonna do is gonna change from letters to numbers. That way it's gonna be easier for you to do your, call your columns by numbers instead of letters, which is more difficult. Okay, so the first, what we want to evaluate is, right, if this is east and total is over 500. So we have east on column 2 and we have total on column 7. So we're gonna need that. I'm gonna say, okay, if I'm gonna say cells, and the way you call the cells command is by putting the row, comma, the column. So we say my row is gonna be I, because at this point in the loop is gonna start with 2, then it's gonna continue with 3, then it's gonna continue with 4. That's why we place a variable so we can cycle it. Then we click put a comma in here, and we specify the column. So we want to evaluate first east, so I'm gonna say column 2. If cells I, which is 2, so it's row 2, column 2, equals, I'm gonna place the evaluation with text, so that's why I put the 2 quotes in there, the double quotes. I'm gonna say east, right? So I got my first evaluation. I'm gonna check, okay, if whenever my cells I, comma 2 equal east, and I'm gonna say my cells, again, same row, so it's gonna be I, comma 7, which is my total. And here we're gonna say greater than and equal to 500. Then I'm gonna close this loop. Whenever you start an if, you gotta close it out. And if, and now what I wanna do is just place it in here. Now, an if you has as you saw, some of the videos in the past of formulas, it has, a logical expression that's gonna do some kind of analysis. Then you have what happens if true, and then you have what happens is false. So in this case, in Visual Basic, the way you do that is by default, whatever you put in there is gonna be the value of true, and you can add a else. Else means, whatever happens else that is not meeting this logical test, then you go through that route, and it's going to execute whatever is in this section here. So what we want to do is just type in yes or no. So where do we want to place a yes and no? It's going to be on column 8 because it's where we want to write it down. So we're going to say cells I, comma 8. I want you to write in this column this specific row. That's why it's important that we have I, and I. We're evaluating all in the same row. Equals, and we're gonna say yes, right? If if those 2 conditions are met, this is equal to east, and this is greater than equal to 500, then we want to place a yes. Otherwise, I'm gonna copy this, paste it here. I'm gonna say no, right? So now basically I have my loop created. So it's gonna evaluate 2 conditions. It's gonna go row by row. So it's gonna do it very fast. And one thing I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna say select I.8 dot select, and what that's going to do is going to happen very fast, but basically you will see exactly which row is evaluating at a specific time. So let's test this out, right? If I go here, I'm going to press my button. I'm going to turn the design mode off so you can see it here, and you can click here, and now basically it did it so fast you probably even noticed. So as you can see, evaluated all the ones that are having east. Let me actually hide all this so you can see it a lot better. So whenever you found east over $500, you're going to place a yes. As you can see, all the rest is basically no. Now, let me just show you what it's doing. We go here. What I'm going to apply now is the debug point. So you can see, you can basically stop the code at that specific time so you can evaluate what it's actually doing. And that way you test that your code is doing what it's supposed to do. So I click, the way you put a debug point is going to be, you cannot put debug points on dimensions. You got to put it on different places in the codes. So in this case, I'm going to evaluate whenever it's going to be selected. So now I place this and look what's going to happen. I'm going to design mode off. I'm going to click here. And basically, whenever you see yellow, it's the next action that's going to happen. So you can see, you can, put your mouse over or do a hover the variables and you see what values they have in them. So right now, EI is equal to 2. And same here, right? I'm going to say, when you press F8, or you can, do some debug here. Let me just add these buttons here. Basically, this is step into. You can press F8 or step into. And basically what that's going to do is going to execute that command that's in yellow. When you do this, basically you see that it selected this cell, which is I, row 2, column 8. And now it's going to evaluate, right, what kind of value this cell has. So this right now has east, but then this one is 189, so it's not exceeding the 500. So let's see what happens. I'm going to step into again. So it goes to the else because this condition was not met. So that's why you got to go to the else, and then you do the step into again. As you can see, it's going to execute the no, and this piece is where it's going to write in your cell. So I'm going to say step into, and there you see it wrote the no in that cell. So now let's do it a little bit faster. We continue to do this, right? It's going to execute each one of them until we finish, right? We said it's going to go from row 2 to 44. And you see, right now here, it met it out. It met it because it's east, and this is over 500, so it put a yes. Then, if you're okay with your tool or your code functionality, just click play, remove the debug point, click play, and basically finish. So that's basically how a for loop works in Excel. We can complicate this a lot more. I suggest you just practice it. I guess that's the best way you can actually learn Visual Basic or any type of programming language. For starters, I prefer Excel because you can simulate a database in here, and the comments are pretty simple to follow in using the code itself. So I hope you like this video. If you want to see more every time and get alerted whenever we submit a new one, just subscribe to this channel. See you in the next one.